Now, those of you here with us in DC, let me paint a picture of the school and its surroundings. The Elliott School of International Affairs is situated in the heart of America's capital city, just steps away from the White House, right next to the World Bank, the IMF, the State Department, and the Fed Board of Governors. Internship possibilities are endless for our 2,500 students, both locally and abroad. Our Grameen internship program provides students a first-hand look at how our colleagues in Bangladesh tackle pressing problems, offering insights as to how we can solve ours. Elliott's innovative Leadership, Ethics, and Practice initiative embeds ethics at the school's core, while GW's STEM departments partner with us to shape the next generation of tech-savvy leaders. Our research institutes and programs span the continents and the world of ideas in international affairs, from security, rising powers, to space and technology policy. The Institute for International Economic Policy, which I co-direct with Jay Shambaugh, examines the big problems facing the global economy, from global governance to climate change, financial crises, digital trade, and multidimensional poverty. Much of our recent work, like today's talk, is related to COVID-19. In 2 weeks, Nora Lustig will discuss COVID-19's impact on inequality in Latin America as part of our Facing Inequality series, while Raghuram Rajan and Bina Agarwal will present their insights on COVID-19 in India as part of our Envisioning India series. Visit our website or YouTube channel at IIP-GW. Now, without further ado, let me ask Dean Ilana Feldman to step forward to the virtual dais to formally welcome our honored guest, Dean Feldman.
Thank you, James. And good morning to everyone and welcome. As James said, my name is Ilana Feldman. I'm the interim dean of the Elliott School of International Affairs. Thank you for choosing to attend the event today. We are extremely honored to welcome back Nobel Laureate and founder of the Grameen Bank, Professor Yunus. Often referred to as the father of both social business and microcredit, Dr. Yunus has started more than 50 other companies in Bangladesh, in addition to founding the Grameen Bank. Fortune magazine named him as one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. He is the recipient of 61 honorary degrees from universities across 24 countries and has received 136 awards from 33 countries, including state honors from 10 countries. In a previous visit to GW in 2016, Dr. Yunus was awarded with the university's highest honor, the President's Medal, in recognition of his pioneering work in creating economic development through microcredit. Professor Yunus is one of only 7 individuals to have received the Nobel Peace Prize, the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the United States Congressional Gold Medal, and has appeared on the covers of Time, Newsweek, and Forbes magazine. Welcome, Dr. Yunus. We're honored to host your discussion on post-corona reconstruction program. Today's event, as you have heard, will be moderated by Dr. James Foster, the Oliver T. Carr Professor of International Affairs and Professor of Economics at George Washington University, and co-director of the Institute for International Economic Policy. He is also a research associate at the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative at Oxford University. Professor Foster's work in economics underlies many well-known social indices, including the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index, published annually by the United Nations Development Program in the Human Development Report. And before we turn things over, I would like to thank the following people for their efforts in making this event possible. Mr. Tanvir Islam of the Yunus Center, Mr. Christopher Fusner, founder and president of Trans-Technology Worldwide, Dr. Jane Ives, director of the Grameen Bank and Trust NGO Student Program, Dr. Lisa Stevenson, associate dean of academic affairs and student services, and thanks to the Institute for International Economic Policy's Kyle Renner and the Elliott School's public affairs team, Robin Kahn and Anthony DeSantis, for their assistance. Thank you all, and we look forward to hearing from you, Dr. Yunus.
Go ahead, Dr. Yunus. It's your floor. Take it over.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought we were having a conversation too then.
Let's have a conversation, of course. I would love to. I remember only too fondly remembering the times that I've seen you many times at giving talks and in the old days back at your own PhD university and so forth. And one thing that struck me was that I had remembered that as a child you were expected to be a physician. As a child, your father thought you would be a physician. I know this because I've seen your application for your PhD program. And it so happens that after all your work with the economy, that I think the best name is a physician to our ailing economic system. So I'm very much looking forward to your latest diagnosis, Dr. Yunus.
Thank you. Thank you. You go back to all the way when my parents wanted to be me as a physician. Yeah, that's all the parents in Bangladesh wanted to see the doctors and engineers in the family. Anyway, very happy to be back again. And I see Jane there, who's been a very good friend for a long time, but with the Grameen program with her. The one that I wanted to share with you is a quick thought on about the corona pandemic, what has happened, the ideas and the thoughts that came across my mind. One is particularly I've been telling everybody, drawing their attention, that this corona pandemic has brought most of our basic human problems and the weaknesses in our thinking and weaknesses in our system uh, to make it visible. It makes it very visible now than it was before. So these problems are hiding in various ways. We knew about it, but we didn't feel it that strongly, what the corona has done to us. And one of the things is massive and global. Uh, Majority of the people in the world who kind of hang with their nails for their survival, or the small income, the daily income, or income they make in a very infrequent way, it's a daily way. Suddenly they drop to the floor. They couldn't hang on to their nails anymore. And it's a massive number of people. And that we knew that. We economists knew about it, governments knew about it, but we didn't see it in such a visual way when Corona came. We saw, particularly in countries like India, Bangladesh, millions of people coming out of the cities, going home on foot, hundreds of miles walking on foot to get back home because they cannot uh, find food in the cities anymore for themselves. They cannot pay their rent wherever this whole little hole they occupied as a place of residence for themselves. And they see no other option but to go home where they were born, see if they can survive there. And it's not one or two or a small number. It's millions of people simultaneously because the whole economy has stopped. And as a result, all the transportation has stopped. So the only way they could go back was on foot. So that made it extremely sad that we designed an economy which we couldn't provide the income, just a survival income for millions of people in their places of birth. They had to go hundreds of miles away from their place of birth and leaving their families, leaving their children back home. And now Corona has pushed them in a situation that the only place they have to go back to is the home. So this is again weakness in the way that we have designed our economic system. And I keep mentioning that the economists define these people as people in the informal sector. Economists kind of walk away from them because they're informal sector. We have nothing to do with them. They have to come to the formal sector by taking jobs, formal jobs. Then economists have things to say, what to do with it. And job creation became the only thing the economists could recommend because they're the only way they can handle these millions of people, or billions of people, I should say. In country like India, Bangladesh, they are about 70% of the population. It's not a small piece. It's a majority of the population fall into that category of informal sector. How do they survive even when the corona is not there? They survive with their own ingenuity, with their own efforts and their initiatives, make a living by selling things on the street, selling things on the walkway, taking daily work, uncertain daily work for small wages and so on, just a survival thing. And that's how they live. I said, what economists have done, they made a mistake by putting a title to this sector as informal sector, it's a kind of dismissive name that we have nothing to do with it until they come to the formal sector, until we can create jobs. So job creation became the mantra of the economists. You have to create jobs. I said, that's a very big mistake. We should be looking at it in a proper way, the way they are. I said this sector should be redesigned and redefined by calling it micro entrepreneur sector, because that's what they do, that's what they survive. And if billions of people can do that, you cannot walk away from them by not recognizing what they do. Once we recognize them, designate them as a micro entrepreneur sector, then suddenly you realize it's a powerhouse of the economy. It's not just helping people to survive. This is really powerhouse of the economy because they come there with their ingenuity, with their creativity, and they have billions of ideas how they can do that. This morning they do something, this evening they do something else to make a living out of them. I said, once we recognize them as a micro-entrepreneur sector, then one important thing that happens, they belong to the entrepreneurial pyramid of the country. You imagine the pyramid, this is the base of that pyramid, millions and multi-million people in that pyramid. And then in the peak of the pyramid, you have the multi-billion-dollar entrepreneur. In the middle of the pyramid, you have the multi-million entrepreneur. In the bottom of this entrepreneurial pyramid, you have the multi-hundred-dollar pyramids, entrepreneurs. So they live in the different layers of the pyramid and so on. And once you recognize that as an entrepreneur, the first thing comes, where do they find their money? Because entrepreneurs need money. This finance is the fuel of entrepreneurship. If you cannot provide the fuel, then they don't exist. So they have to find this fuel. Since parents cannot provide them the fuel, government doesn't do it, institutions don't do it, economists never thought about it. So they are on their own, and they have to fall back on the class of people known as loan sharks. And in different countries, they are known in different ways, but this is the only source for them to make a living by taking money from the loan sharks and make a living for themselves. And they earn whatever they earn, loan sharks kind of suck it away from them. And that's why they remain where they are. In Bangladesh, in India, they are known as a loan shark in various languages. They have their own word for it. Is how strong they are in squeezing people to get the money out. In other countries like USA and others, you call them mafia, you call them payday lenders, you call them anything else. But they exist everywhere. It's not just Bangladesh or something. Every single country, every single city, wherever these micro entrepreneurs are, you have the loan sharks because the entire financial system ignored them. I said, once we recognize them as micro entrepreneur sector, the first thing to do is to make sure we remove the loan sharks and bring a financial system to do that. We create a special kind of banks like Grameen Bank. We may call it micro entrepreneur bank, following the same system that we have designed, which works in the USA as good as in Bangladesh. The Grameen America today works beautifully in the United States in 15 cities. Even in the pandemic time, they have done so well. The performance is excellent performance that they're doing, working 100% with women and so on. So it works everywhere. So why don't they issue licenses, make a legislation to give licenses to micro entrepreneur bank? One thing I want to add to that, I said this will be social business micro entrepreneur. It's not just micro entrepreneur, but it's social business micro entrepreneur. Why? Because there's a tendency that when you become a bank, you want to serve, suddenly you feel this is a good opportunity to make money out of the poor people. So the tendency is to turn yourself into another loan shark, formal loan shark, with a license from the government. So cut it off right from the beginning by legislating it. It should be social business micro entrepreneur bank. And if you want to start one, You have to do it as a social business way, meaning you are not doing the business to make money for yourself. You are doing it to solve the problem of financing for the people who do it in a sustainable way. That's what the Grameen America is. So it's a good example right there. And they have they're doing excellent work. They're self-financing. It's sustainable. Each branch is sustainable. They have now 24 branches in 15 cities. So all of them, if it is over 3 years old, they become sustainable. They can earn enough to do that. So this is the financing part of it. This can be done. So this is one example example of what the economist and the thinking is went in the wrong process, and we created the wrong world out of that, and we blame them for that rather than blame ourselves. We created wrong ideas, wrong concepts, wrong institutions, and blame the people for not being able to take care of themselves. So this is one. And the other one that I've been focusing on, there is a tremendous amount of eagerness to go back to pre-corona situation. And there's a government and policymakers kind of pushing themselves hard and encouraging everybody to get ready to go back there, all the way back to where the pre-corona situation, this December 2019 kind of situation. And hearing it again and again and enthusiasm behind it, I keep raising the question, why do you want to go back? What is there to go back to? That was a terrible world that we are coming from. Given any chance, I would never go back. The fact that I'm not there, I'm very free. I'm very happy that I'm not there now. It was in the previous time before the corona, it was like a train, a fast train, a bullet train, carrying all of us in a fast speed to our ultimate disaster. Because everybody is saying that disaster is waiting right there. It's a question of going a few miles off, then you'll be hitting the cliff and it will be all over. Human beings cannot survive on this planet. Why? Because of global warming, of course, because everybody is telling that, and scientists have been warning us again and again, that global warming is going to kill us. Now, the young people, the teenagers are marching on the street saying that, calling themselves Fridays for Future, blaming their parents, their grandparents. You are totally responsible people, making this world totally unlivable for us. You have stolen our future. So our grandchildren, our children now blaming us that we are responsible for creating this. And it's true, because that's what we have done. We have created a world which is about to finish. We are running for the finish line, and the countdown has begun, and there's not much time left. I said, why do you want to go back there when the finishing line is right there? It's visible. And at the same time, it's not only because of the global warming. It's another very strange thing, very ugly thing the economists have done. Design a machine which takes all the wealth to one direction, all the way to top. And all the wealth is concentrated at the top. 1% of the population kind of own everything in the world, almost 99% of the wealth. So the remaining 99% has to share with themselves in this, again, another strange, skewed way, the 1% of the wealth that's left for them. I said, that's not a design that you should be proud of. You'll be ashamed of yourself that you created a system which keeps on doing that, cranking up all the wealth, pushing up. I said, this is not the kind of system that we want to have. And this is also an explosive situation it creates because of the tension it creates among the people in the top and the bottom, and so political tension and the economic tension that creates. So we don't want to go to that explosive situation of the ticking time bomb of wealth concentration. So we don't want to go back because of global warming, because of wealth concentration, and because of artificial intelligence. I said artificial intelligence is coming very quickly, and it's already in the pipeline, and it will come suddenly take over all our human activities by the machines. So human being become a surplus. This will be unnecessary nuisance on this planet. That they will take. These are kind of a pest. They will bring artificial intelligence. Probably will bring their pest control department to clean up the world. These are unnecessary garbage in this planet. Get rid of them. So this is the kind of threat we are facing, and it's coming very sharp. I said, going back means it's committing suicide. Why should we commit suicide? So luckily, pandemic has stopped the train, which was taking us there. And that we should celebrate, that we got an opportunity which was never given to us. Now, pandemic has given us this opportunity. Now we can get off the train and see where we should go. Definitely, we're not going there. So we have to go someplace else. I said, first decision we have to take, no going back. This is a firm decision that we do not want to go back. This is not worth going back to. So we have to build a new one, a new world where we want to. And in that world, I keep suggesting that maybe it will be a world of 3 zeros. Zero net carbon emission. This is the kind of world we need to do because we don't want to surrender ourselves to the global emission, global warming. So we have to build that economy, build that world, which will be free from global warming. And it can be done. It's not a complicated thing because we know already, scientists have told us, economists have told us, who is creating how much of global warming. We know exactly which industry, which policy, which business is creating that. So all you have to do is to not to take them to the new world. Then if you just take the fossil fuel industry, 80% of the global warming is coming from them. So why don't we get rid of the fossil fuel? At least this is one step we can do. And many other things that we can do. We know exactly what to do. So in that new world, there'll be zero carbon emission, net carbon emission, and with zero wealth concentration. We don't want an economy of concentration. We want an economy of sharing so that the wealth is distributed over everybody. And if we put it in our mind, we can come up with a system which it does. It's a human mind can work out any problem you give, they will come up with a solution. So we know exactly how it can be done already. There's lots of options available to us. And then, of course, we stop the artificial intelligence to take away, make us a surplus thing on this garbage on this planet. Because of them. So we said the technology can be a curse, technology can be a blessing. When artificial intelligence replaces human beings on this planet, that's a curse technology. We don't want curse technology. We need artificial intelligence can be a blessing technology also for many things. So we should concentrate on that one. So this is the direction that we want to go to make sure that this is we take this opportunity. Young people very much like that. To abandon the old thinking process. This is the first thing to do. Defy all the things that have been said before. Pick up piece by piece what you need and what you don't need. If you can't do that, you will be out of life on this planet. Everything will be suspect because this is what created the world. So always remember, no matter what they say, ultimate result is they created a terrible world. So there's something wrong in the system that we built, concepts that we built. Now that we have to build a new system, new way of doing things. And I end by saying that if you go by the old roads, you always end up at the old destination. You cannot change that. But if you want to go to a new destination, you have to build new roads. So old road will not come to our use at all. We have to go the reverse. Everything has to be reversed. Like the microcredit has been everything reversed. That's why it works. Otherwise, we'll be same old style of banking, same final conclusion that it cannot be. So we reverse everything. We define every single banking norm that they've set up. We said, forget it. We do the reverse. If you go this way, we go this way. So this is how the microcredit came. So this is a good example. And take from there, we can create a business. The economists have created a business to maximize profit. We said, forget about that. We can create business not to make money at all. Do is a social business. So at least you can give them opportunity for both. So money-making business and zero profit. This 0% of profit business, which is a social business, aiming at designing businesses to solve problems. I said the economists made a fundamental mistake at the very beginning. It described human being as someone driven by self-interest. It's a selfish being. I said that's a very wrong definition of human. There is self-interest is important, but this is not the whole of human being. There's another aspect, which is a common interest. Human being also driven by common interest. That common interest is completely removed from the thought of the economists. So they concentrated on one thing and created massive mistaken world that we have, dangerous world that we have created. The moment we bring the common interest into the picture, then we need another kind of business to solve common problems, and not to make money out of them. So when we have the maximization of profit, you reverse it, 0% of profit. Only concentration is solving. So this is one starting point, and there are many other issues that we can discuss. I'll stop here and let you.
Well, that's
description. Yeah.
it's a tour de force of our problems today in economics. I will, as an economist, say business has something to do with this as well. The conception of business schools and the way that our main leaders have been taught in that industry from the 1980s in particular. So I would like to say that the economists are thinking in many ways of, in fact, rethinking capitalism. And as we get to that question, how would you start making practical moves? Because most of the time, economists think incrementally. What you're suggesting can't be done incrementally. This is a complex system that needs to be addressed all at once. How is it to be done practically? That's what the main question, I suppose, if my mother-in-law were listening to you right now, that's what she would ask.
Well, I'll tell your mother-in-law that the house is on fire. So you have no time for incremental change in the fire situation. You have to rush out and save yourself. So bring it, whatever you can with you. So the whole planet is in fire. It doesn't have much time left. So everything we do, we have to do in that spirit, that there's not much time left for us. And all decisions have to be outrageously bold decisions, not a tiny, tiny thing. So this is the style of thing that we have been doing. And we love our comfort zones. We love to talk about it and so on. At the end of it, we go back and forget everything else. So that's not it. See, you have one direction. I said this is a suicidal. If you feel that, yes, it is suicidal because there's nothing. So you have no option to rush on the other side, go in the other direction, and run as fast as you can, because before the other train takes you and end your life in that direction. So this is it. So this is the time. The Corona has given us a time to make sure we do fast things. We don't tinker around, little things, practice the experiment. There's no experimentation. Whatever experimentation is there, it's already there. Take one and run with it and see how it works. Number one. Number two, I would say, because of Corona, because you want to go back to the old world, there is something called bailout packages. Everybody's ready with the bailout packages that billions of dollars have been prepared, mobilized. All the bags are full of money put behind so that we can go back. This is the whole idea of going back. And some countries have billions of dollars already mobilized. Some countries have trillions of dollars already mobilized, already announced. They made decisions. I said, so money is not a problem. Any other situation will not give you the trillions of dollars and billions of dollars in any like this. So you have the money. So all I'm urging, don't use the money to push it back. Use the money to take it forward another direction. And where do you want? Well, I gave the example. Those who are fossil fuel people, forget it. Don't give a penny for them because they are the cause of all our trouble. So make sure if you want to go to the new world, you have a check post. Like during the Corona, you have a check post. You have to do the temperature. You have to do all the things before you get in. You have the mask. And so entering the new world will be like that. If you are in business, you have to show that you're safe. Otherwise, we'll not take you. Will not allow you. We'll say change your business. Otherwise, you cannot, because you are contributing to the global warming. You are contributing to the wealth concentration. Wealth concentration didn't come from God. We created that. We economists and we academicians created that. And don't blame anybody else. We are responsible for it because we made wrong things into the system. And as a result, all the money flowed into one direction. And it doesn't have any other direction left. So now we have to learn how to undo this and do it otherwise. It's very simple. Whatever we have done in the past, do it the reverse. And it will come the other way. That's a very simple thing. It's not a big complicated thing. So this is, undoing things will be meaning that you have to do it in a different way. You have to put the whole gear, economic gear, in a reverse gear so that you go back in other direction and continue build that. So you have the money, you have the ideas, how to do it. And individuals can do that. You don't need a big government to decide and so on. You see, you have to do it. I have to do it. I create things. You create things. We decide that we are not buying anything which has any contribution from fossil fuel. We don't touch that. So if you do that, you go to the grocery store when you buy our groceries. You see which one used how much of the fossil fuel, how much of the contribution it's making to the global warming, how much is contributing to the wealth concentration, etc., etc. Who is using how much of artificial intelligence? We have to have this information. Ask for all the producers. Unless you give me the information, I'm going to buy it. I will buy only I see that you're not doing that, then I'll buy it.
That's a fantastic idea. A fantastic idea, Dr. Yunus. The concept of discovering the provenance, where a product comes from and under what conditions it was produced, is exactly the kind of information that we need, both for products and for discussions in the political sphere and other places. Provenance is very crucial. I don't want to take those ideas further because it's so exciting to me. I want to take the ideas that the audience is bringing forth in the chat right now. And so I'm going to go to the chat and in the direction that they're taking us. Arshi Kibriya is asking, given how COVID-19 has worsened existing social inequalities, what are some strategies to ensure that women can maintain resilience and attain empowerment in Bangladeshi society?
All societies, not Bangladesh, it's everywhere. You talk about US society, you talk about that UK society. It's upside down. People left in the bottom, all the wealth concentration is not for Bangladesh. The ugliest wealth concentration you'll see in the rich countries, where all the people who own this 1%, people who own the 99% of the wealth, where do they live? They live in the rich countries. So that's where you see the ugliest form of wealth concentration. So we have to see that it's a mechanism that we have introduced, the institutional arrangement that we make this possible, make it happen. So Corona has revealed all those problems for us now to act. The action is Corona has revealed it. We are now aware of it. We have an opportunity not to go back, and we don't want to commit suicide. So let's find a way where it will be different. And these are the things that you can do in Bangladesh, because global warming is not coming from Bangladesh. It's coming from USA, it's coming from Europe, it's not coming from Bangladesh. Don't worry about Bangladesh on the global warming. It's there. So you stop it, world becomes a happier place, safer place. And this is the kind of thing. The poor people are victims of those institutions and the policies that we made. And the whole world became the victim of the global warming. The whole world became the victim of the wealth concentration. It's not one particular country or a particular region. So those kind of things is discussed just to divert your attention so that you don't look at me, you look at somebody else. So look at everybody. You don't look at just one pocket here, one pocket there. That's not how economics work. Economics works globally, same system. The same system sucks up all the wealth and gives it to a few people on the planet. And that's the system that we have to come out of. We will make sure that wealth doesn't go in one direction. Where this money comes, we have to redesign those systems, where this money is coming from. We stop that system to reverse that system so that money, instead of going up, it comes down and it gets shared by everybody else. So this is, once you make up your mind that we want to do that, you'll see 1,001 ways how to do that. It's not something that you leave it to some smart people to do that. Anybody can figure that out.
So from another viewer, may you share further your opinion on the experience of migrants due to COVID-19 and how we can better support these often vulnerable populations as they seek better working or living conditions? How can we do better in the future? And I guess that's to the point, we are in a pandemic. We do have problems for many people. How do we address those problems as well as the problems of the future and the present that you've described?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's not two different things. The only thing I'm saying, pandemic has brought it up in a very visual way. It's there. We didn't see it. It was hidden. We knew it a little bit, but we moved away because this didn't come in as sharply as it is now. So today it comes in a sharp way. So the vivid picture of the people, daily income people, came out so sharply that we felt sorry that we hold in control. That was again diverted, this whole thing, when it became visible. This started a whole new kind of debate saying, oh, this is now we have to decide life versus livelihood. Come on now. life versus livelihood. Life doesn't have an option. There is no versus something. Life is unique and paramount. Life cannot be exchanged. Life cannot be traded with anything. So life remains what it is. It's a question of livelihood. You made terrible mistakes in livelihood. Fix that so that life is supported by the livelihood. They're not asking for any favor. They're only asking for fixing things that you made a mess out of, that you ignored them. You felt that you have nothing to do with them. You have to give them jobs. That's why we keep talking about human beings are not born as job seekers. Human beings are born as entrepreneurs. Economists misled them, completely saying that it's a job creation, and so on. I said, job is not befitting to human beings. Human beings are packed with unlimited creative power. That's what the human being is all about. Enormous creativity of human beings. That's an identity. The moment you pushed into a job, your creativity is over. You sacrifice your creativity because no job will allow you to use your creativity. They said, don't use your thing, just follow instructions. And that's what the name of the job is. Job is following instructions. And you surrender all your creativity for a monthly remuneration for it. I said, a giant of a human being has been pushed into a little slot for a job. And economists feel proud of that creation of job. I said, you destroy human beings. You distracted the whole attention to the wrong thing. We should be creating an economy, creating a society where everybody will have a chance to use their creative power as entrepreneurs. So it will be a society of entrepreneurs, not about job seekers. Job is a total negation of a human being, of its creativity. So these are the things that we have to sort out.
So I'll push back on that since I happen to be in one of the few jobs that is not of that character. As you know well, that being a professor is a very flexible position to be in, where you can actually sit back and think of issues and try to solve serious problems in your mind, not in practice, but in your mind. But it is true that for jobs, the question is, what are the other attributes that we're not paying attention to in jobs? What are the things that make people thrive in their jobs, right? You can call them what they want. You can call them entrepreneur, you can call them jobs, whatever they happen to be. If there are characteristics that are the ones that make people thrive, then that's what we should be trying to create. But we don't take into account in the unemployment rate that at all. We don't take into account the quality of jobs. And it seems to me that that's an important added facet that we need to start paying attention to when we look at, quote, economics and unemployment. I have another question. Shabir Ebman says,
just to quickly
yes, please.
comment on what you said. First of all, I'm not thinking about unemployment, because you might think that word doesn't exist, because unemployment comes from employment. I said the whole problem of unemployment has been created by the concept of employment. If you didn't have the concept of employment, there is no unemployment. We will be doing our own thing. And that's why I emphasize so much about the micro-entrepreneurs. Powerhouse. People are doing their own thing. And that's the majority of the people on this planet, not the job seekers. Majority of the people on this planet are on their own. And they show the every daily way how creative they are. All I'm saying, the economists have abandoned them. You have not given the right kind of environment for them so that they can go, move on according to their ability to move their enterprises higher and higher. Anyway, just I wanted to mention that.
Of course, I think you'd find someone in agreement with what you just said. So I was going to recall the question of Shabir Ebman. I wonder how one would maintain the profitability and competitiveness of a microcredit bank. In other words, what is the competitive advantage of microcredit that maintains its sustainability?
I don't know where this word competitive came here. In social business, there is no competitive thing. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm doing something to solve a problem. And I solve the problem in a sustainable way, meaning all the costs that incur, I cover it back again. And then if I have a surplus, I plow it back again. So there is no sense of competition here. If you used to want to use the word competition, I would say competition with doing good things. You are doing 10 people, I'm doing 20 people. Same. That's a sense of pride that I'm doing better than you. Not because competition comes, I want to make more money. That's what the word competition came from. I want to push you out. And in social business, there's no pushing out. We're inviting people. Please come and join. Everybody, we need you. And I'm doing my part. Would you do? Maybe you would do bigger part. I'm happy and applaud you because you're doing. I feel relieved that somebody can do better than I can. I feel relieved that I can do that. If I can provide housing for people who do not have houses, and I'm doing 100, you're doing 1,000. I applaud you because this is what I wanted to do. So since competition is not the one that is, so there's no competitiveness in microcredit and so on. Like in Grameen America, just an example, they are given over $2 billion, not over, nearly about $2 billion in the last 11 years to their borrowers, all the women that they, and they always say, can we make it bigger? Can we reach out to more people so that so many other people are waiting for us? How to do that, and inviting everybody else, please take it over to do it yourself so that we don't have to come. We in Grameen Bank, we didn't create Grameen Bank ourselves throughout the world. Oh, we are expanding, we are a growth industry. We never said that. We encouraged everybody, please do that. We'll help you to do that. We're helping people. That's how we sent our staff to go around helping other people to create that. And that's how many of the microcredit programs around the world were created. We didn't want to create a mega company. We are the global company. We can have a brand microcredit for everybody and make sure anybody who enters, we push them out. We never did that. So that is the spirit of social business. So I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hear. We have a question from Robert McGuire. The idea of universal basic income has now become something more seriously considered in the US than previously. What is your thinking about UBI, universal basic income?
See, the Congress have no answers. So they want to put everybody, make them beggars. So you become beggars, I give you the money. So you come to me, I give you a check, you take care of yourself for next 1 month and come back again. So I don't want to see human being as beggars in any form of begging, neither as a subsidies or a welfare program, nothing like that. Welfare, subsidies, this could be temporary thing, some emergency situation. I accept that, but not as a solution the way permanent income or basic income is talked about. So what do I do? Why should I do anything if you give me free money? And where is this money coming from? And why do you give it to me? Why don't you just give me the loan so that I can go and do my thing? That's what I'm arguing all the time, that they need money as an institution, as something, as part of a business. So who is going to dish out all this money to come to you? So I don't see the future of human being as a community of beggars, glorified beggars all around. Somebody pays them, and that's what when they called about the artificial intelligence, when they say everybody will be out of job, they quickly say, "Well, government will give basic income." Why government has to give me money? What about me? I can change the world. Why should we wait for government money to come and limit on my life according to that? Why should I do that? That doesn't get into my head somehow. It's human. I see human being is the most creative thing in the among all the creations, and this is they go to the frontiers every time a human being comes. They expand the frontier of creation, and that's how the human being is. Not the kind of a sitting there eating and counting days when they will die sometime. That's not human life. So you have a very mistaken human life when you talk about universal basic income.
So that's a very interesting idea. The notion of not having it be like this, hierarchical. Charity is like this, me up here giving to you or taking from you. Whereas you're talking about an equal partnership of people loaning and borrowing. That becomes a partnership in getting something done. And so I see that relationship as being related to your statement when you began today, saying that it's these entrepreneurial spirit. You should call these people entrepreneurs because that's exactly what they are. It's analogous to when you say to someone, oh, you're a remedial student. You're taking this course that you need to learn mathematics in order to go to economics. You're going to take if you don't call it that, but rather say, we're removing this barrier so that you can learn economics, so that you can learn the way the world might work or how you might change the world. It's an entirely different perspective. And I applaud you for thinking that way, reframing the picture so that people understand their role in changing the world. We have a question from Shreya Rana, who asks, how would you say that you can balance between environment and the economy where there are inherent trade-offs present? And Jacob Harinda asks, how will the poorest countries be able to afford green energy?
Oh, you're assuming that green energy somehow is expensive. We created a company in Bangladesh called Grameen Shakti or Grameen Energy to bring solar energy in the villages because they are all using kerosene for their lamps. And we said the electricity will never come to them because the way at that point government programs were, only the cities have the electricity. Rural areas don't have the electricity, but Bangladesh is all about areas. We said we don't have to wait for the government to come and expand their electricity program to bring all the villages under electricity. We can create a social business. This is a problem-solving business. Why don't we create something and bring green energy, solar energy to the villages? So all we have to do is to bring solar panels and battery, give it to people and sell it to people. It's a business, so you have to pay for it. And then you have your own electricity. You are the electricity supply company. You are at the same time, you are the consumer company yourself. You produce, you consume. That's all. In the beginning, we thought we got very excited. We came with such a big idea, such a fantastic thing. But people paid no attention whatsoever. This is too expensive. We can't afford it. Like the way you just brought out the question. They're too expensive. How can I do that? I buy just kerosene. It's affordable to me and I have the lights. Whatever light I need, that's what kerosene I buy. So we thought about it, how to address that issue. So we came back with another idea. We go back to the people. We said, look, how much money you spent on kerosene? So everybody knew how much money you spent per month. So I get the picture that you X amount, Y amount, Z amount, and so you spent on kerosene. Then we said, give me the monthly kerosene money. Every month, instead of buying kerosene, you give the money to me. I give you electricity. Exactly the same electricity that you needed to buy, maybe more. And you don't have to pay anything else. Then people say, what's wrong? I can do that. No problem. All I'm doing is kerosene money. And if I get a clean energy, good lighting, and so on. So people liked it, started doing that, and became very, very popular in the whole country. Today, we have about 7 million homes with solar energy. So to say that it's expensive even from kerosene, it's the wrong thing. Because after 3 years, it takes only 3 years to pay back all the money that you spent by paying monthly amount to us, to the company. After 3 years, you don't pay anything. It's free because you already paid for the kerosene, for the battery, for the panel, and so on and so forth. So this is cheaper than that. So to say that green energy is more expensive, somebody is making wrong calculation. That's not what it is. It's a question of paying attention to it. And also, this is one, it's physically it's less expensive. And your calculation of expense is wrong. You're dying because of that. You're not including the death inside of their calculation. Because of the fossil fuel, the whole human being will not be here. So you said, no, that's not my calculation. Only thing that you pay is my calculation. So you have to consider how much actually it costs us to have fossil fuel. That calculation has to be very clear.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your answer. I have 2 more questions I'm going to go with. The first one is from Ajay Chibber. Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, the new Nobel Prize winners in economics, do not find microcredit so successful. What do you think of their findings?
Well, it's their finding. We have our own findings, so we don't complain about anything. We just do our own thing. We tell people what we do. You're not going to, this is not a classroom lecture. If you don't give the right answer, I'll cancel your answer and give you 0. That's not it. We do our own thing. Whoever says whatever, it's no problem for us.
And then the last questions, and I'll put the two together. It's a question about the structural change to the economy first. For accomplishing the 3 zeros, how should the international order change? And Malika Kaishap says, what can we as students do to push or advocate for this reinvented post-COVID economic system?
You don't have to push, you just do it yourself. Pushing is something else. First, change yourself, and everything will change. This is the first lesson that you have to learn. Then, otherwise, you get involved in something that you get frustrated very soon. Examples will make the push, not arguments, because when you see things happening, people understand it very clearly. Otherwise, you get back to same old logic, same old sentence, and same old words, and get confused. And you get confused yourself, you confuse everybody else. But when you do things, it's very clear. Either it works or it doesn't work. If it works, everybody's excited. Well, I should do it too. So make that happen. If you want to make that fossil fuel go, take action. You do it yourself. If you have a bank account, for example, I'm sure you have a bank account. But ask the bank, where does my money go to? I give you the money to keep. Where do you put this money to? So you get a list of all the people that they are financing. And if they are financing all the fossil fuel companies, I say, sorry, this is not my bank. I have to find a bank which doesn't use my money to kill me. So that's the one. I gave you the grocery shop instance also. So you have to go and you tell your friends what you're doing. And then he or she will feel, this can be done. I can do that. So all the banks which are putting money, that money is coming from the bank ultimately. So they will say, okay, now I am out of my business. It's your money who's going to the fossil fuel. Fossil fuel is not their money. So you give it to the bank gives it to them. So if you don't give, you choose your bank right, you choose your grocery store right, you choose your clothing right, it will be over.
Hear, hear. I believe that that's the way forward. I agree with you entirely on that, Dr. Yunus. That's just simple economics. Consumer sovereignty can change everything. If people make their preferences appropriate, then the economy will follow. Thank you, Dr. Yunus, for your clear and insightful presentation. I'm going to turn it over right now to Dr. Jane Ives. This includes the Q&A portion. And Dr. Jane Ives is the director of the Grameen Bank and Trust NGO Student Program. Dr. Ives, would you like to come to the fore?
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Dr. Yunus, for a very interesting and very on behalf of the Grameen Student Internship Program and all of our students. Honored to have you once again speak to the George Washington University community. I now have the pleasure to introduce everyone to Chris Fusner, founder of the Grameen Bank Student Internship Program and an Elliott School alum, who will provide some concluding remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Zen.
Thank you, Dr. Yunus. It was great to see you again. We're so sorry we missed your birthday in Munich, your 80th birthday, but you really don't look a day over 60. So thank you for your very, very great comments. I have one final question. How many people has the Grameen Bank lifted out of poverty?
Well, the Grameen Bank itself works only in Bangladesh.
No, worldwide.
Worldwide, I'll be about 200 million, something like that.
200 million. That is a Nobel Peace Prize winning number, Doctor. Doctor, thank you so much for your interest at George Washington University. We're looking forward to welcoming you in person next year, and we're also looking forward to setting up a Yunus Center at the Elliott School with the help of James Foster and Jane Ives. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
And thank you, Chris. And to everyone out there, goodbye from Washington, D.C. and the George
Bye-bye.
Washington University.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.